Boys and girls, Alex here. I had to make this prelude to my following video, more so as an apology to Milwaukee, because while I love this trimmer, I just about shit-canned their colette. When I bought the trimmer and this offset base, I thought I got a spare colette with the offset base and a colette with the trimmer. Now, the colette is a pain to put in there because of the limited space in there. So what I thought I'd do is I'd put one colette in there permanent and leave it in there. And the other one, I thought, well, I'll put it into my trimmer and have it at that. Well, you'll notice in the video forthcoming, I had a shitload of trouble trying to get this bloody trimmer into the colette. Lo and behold, what it turns out, and I have actually documented this now. Hang on, I'll take this out and I'll leave this here for posterity. Come on. And I'll zoom in on it because a picture says 1,000 words. And 1,000 pictures make up a video. So effectively what I'm telling you is 1,000,000 words in this video. Here we are. Let's zoom in on it. These are the two colettes that came with the trimmer. As you can see, one is a 1/4 inch and the other is a bloody 6mm colette. Lo and behold, what I decided to do was use the 1/4 inch in the offset base and use the 6mm in the bloody trimmer. The crazy part about it was, with all my struggles, I actually managed to get the bloody thing in there and go through the video using this bloody 6mm colette, cursing under my breath, reshooting the video because I fucked up so many times. I even sanded down the bloody, what's his name, the shaft of this router bit to make it fit. Anyway, as I said, this is really more like an apology to Milwaukee and let you know why I had so much trouble with something that I absolutely love. As I said, I do love this little unit. Having said that, you can either just bloody hang up now and say what a dickhead, or you can just sit back and have a chuckle at this moron trying to make do with a 1/4 inch router bit in a 6mm colette. Uru, keep safe, and the video to follow. Boys and girls, Alex here. My last video was a demonstration of how I use my frontline clamps, and the panels I made using those frontline clamps was to make this box for a newly purchased Milwaukee trimmer. As you can see, there it is, Milwaukee. Anyway, this is now the unofficial box opening, unboxing of the trimmer. I say unofficially because it was officially unboxed out of the paper carton. And here we have it. Oh, come on. Let's put that down there. What do you get in the package? Let's move that back. You get a trimmer. You get a plunge base. And you get this offset base. Now, I had no idea what the hell the offset base was, so I RTFM'd. The FM told me FA, so I actually did a Google search. When I found out what an offset base was used for, I thought, okay, handy, but not necessarily one of my favourite tools. However, I might see benefit on it, and I shall try and demonstrate how it can be used. As well as that, you get a router guide, a plunge base guide. Let's see, I'll move these out of the way. And you get a few other little extra gadgets like dust extraction, port, spanners, a few other little knobs that you, like this knob here, sits in there. However, unless I do it up really tight, it sort of just gets in the way, so I tend to keep it off that. Anyway, let's put this aside, and just to give you a very quick rundown of the Ryobi trimmer. First of all, the Ryobi, Jesus Christ, I've got Ryobi on the brain. Milwaukee trimmer. I've got 3 other Ryobis, so that's it. It's a Milwaukee. You need a battery, which adds a bit to the weight, but still, it's a nice little compact unit. The thing I like about this unit, it hasn't got that bloody bullshitting rack and pinion adjustment. Because with the rack and pinion, you adjust it down, you go about 1/2 mil too far, and I mean 1/2 mil, so you've got to bring it back up, and you usually bring it back at least another 1/2 mil extra. And then you backwards and forwards until eventually you spit the dummy and you cut it short, or you cut it long, and then you sand off the excess. What this has, it's got a locking lever and a push button, and you push the button, that slides up and down. And once you get close to your desired height, you've got this micro adjustment. And that to me is just absolutely brilliant. I just love it. Alright, that's it. So, to change the bit, it's got a locking mechanism. I've already put on there the direction of open and close because I can never remember, and I can still remember how to read, so I'll do that. What I'll do is I'll search for a router bit. Like, I've got rid of most of my 1/4 inch shaft bits, because to me they're just nowhere near as reliable as the 1/2 inch ones. But I've still got a few, mainly for my trimmers. But trimmers I use for dedicated jobs, so I don't want to disturb some, so I've got to try and find the router bit for it, and then we'll just give it a quick try. Give me a chance and I'll go and find one. I'm back. I found a couple, but I did find this one. I went for the bigger one. I thought, well, bugger it, let's put this under a bit of strain. I didn't want to use a straight bit because straight bit isn't going to put that much strain on it, well, unless you cut straight through like that. And I didn't particularly want to use a tungsten carbide tip bit, because with the tungsten carbide, that does most of the work, not so much the trimmer. What I just wanted was a normal run-of-the-mill garden variety bit, so it will put a bit of, well, hopefully a bit of labour on this. Now, first of all, let's undo this thing. I've actually got a wooden dowel in there, and I hate these collets because even when you undo them, they still stay fairly tight, although this one doesn't seem to be that bad this time. But they usually seem tight, so you've got to, yeah, there we are. They still seem to close in on that collet, so, oh, come on. Damn. Hang on, I'll put that in there. Yep. Does it to me all the time. Open it up a bit, hopefully. Oh, come on. This is what bloody frustrates me at times. Why the hell? There. That'll stretch it a bit. I mean, that I don't like. I just do not like that at all. Why won't it go in? No, just doesn't seem to want to go in. Ah, there, hey! I think I've found the secret, Jesus Christ. If you try and push it in that way, it won't go in. If you push the little insert out, that'll let that spread, and hopefully you can push that in. Hey, holy shit, I actually learned something today. Now let's see if we can put that in there, lock the spindle, grab the key. Let's get, there's two keys there, grab the right one. And normally you don't have to really, whoa, that's going to do the bit a lot of good. What happened here? Oh, I took the pressure off that. Okay, here we've got a bit. Let's put it in and check the depth. Now, of course, press this button to, hang on, to lower it. And I've got to sort of like watch it, only because that's bottoming out on this rubber mat, so I'll actually move it up a bit just to clear the, yeah, cleared the mat. Okay, ready to give it a try. What I need to do now is put the dust extraction on. Here we go. Whoop, wrong dust extraction. The other one, and it's got this little knob that you put it on with. Put that on, screw that in, and now I'm just about to demonstrate what really pisses me off is the fact that very few manufacturers have common dust extraction ports, or common size dust extraction ports. This one has one. Now I'll try and find which one fits. This one I think fits this. Yep, it fits it, beautiful. I better make sure hang on, I'll switch over my dust hose. Good God, I'm kicking cameras and all that. As you can see, I'm switching that one over for this one. Basically just that they're attached to different dust extractors, and I hate swapping them around. Let's get that out of the way, that out of the way. Now the thing I hate about cordless tools is they don't automatically turn your dusty on. So what I've got to do is put the dusty on manual and then actually switch it on manually before I start doing something. Now, let's see. Oops, get it the right way. The blade rotates. Good God, which way does the blade rotate? That way. So, I need to, let's get this right. Yep, feed the router the other way. Okay, let's turn the dusty on. Turn the router on. Where the hell's the button? There it is. Not much. Hang on. I could probably lower it a bit more. I'm not. No, it's actually quite impressive how much it's taken off, but it's more a case of I want more. All right, let's try this again. Hopefully you heard that. I put it through the speed range from 1 to 6, quite responsive, And the thing I don't mind, actually I'll see, when I switch it off, it seems to have a switching it off now, an electronic brake on it, which I do like. It doesn't keep spinning. I love that in a router. Look, I might even just drop it down a little bit. Oh no, it's not going to show much because I took that in 2 passes, but it's actually made mincemeat of that work. Well, I'm impressed. Okay, I shall switch it over for the plunge base. Let's take that off. Camera off. Camera back on. I mean, you'd like to know, or probably would like to know, how the hell you switch it to the plunge base. First off, I'll move that there. I'll put the dust extraction on, and this is where you'll see why I get so pissed off with all these bloody companies. The dusty, it's actually not a bad little dusty either. However, for God's sake, same company, same type of extraction, that fits. That one does not fit. Doesn't fit at all, which is an absolute bullshit. So what I finish up doing is I'll swap dust extractors. I've actually got one of these, Rockler universal thing, which it sort of fits. It doesn't fit well, but if you push it on hard enough, you sort of get what you might classify as a squeeze fit, and with the suction it'll just hold it on. But again, that's bullshit. Actually, that fits that as well, but I prefer the other one. But yeah, so that's sort of, but it's, as you can see, you've got to really jam it on into that bend there, and it's not really holding on by much. Anyway, before we do that, let's get this unit together, and I've got to press the button. I keep forgetting to press the button, because I have found, it took me a while to check this out, but this doesn't have a button on it, so the micro adjustment is bugger all use in this, which I don't like. However, it's got a, where can we show it, a plunge, pushing that down. And one of the things I did find, initially I complained about the plunge, but if you only push it halfway down, you'll get it down, but it won't come up. You've got to push this lever all the way down, and then the plunge is actually quite a nice smooth action. All right, I'm just about ready to go. What I'll do is I'll try and get another piece of, what I'm using is this bit of MDF, because why the hell should I use some good bloody stuff just to make a demo and then throw it away? So I'll swing this around, get that out of the way. There's a edge there. Let's just make sure we get it all in camera, because I did try and make a video beforehand and I stuffed it all up because the camera, the bottom of the camera came to about there, so you couldn't see any of the bit. All right, now let's attach the dusty. Let's actually turn the power on. Well, one good thing I do prefer with regards to this dusty compared to the other dusty, normally you tend to keep the hose away from you, which made, when I was running it, I was running it through there, which put the button, the on-off switch on the other side, which I didn't like. But anyway, that's stupid me. Get that out of the way, make sure I don't hit that with the unit. Turn the dusty on. Turn this on and plunge. as you can see, I've made a dog's breakfast of it, but that's because I was just playing around with the plunger. But yeah, once you get it down, it just, look, it's only MDF, but by God, it's making a decent job. Look, I might even get a bit of pine. Where the hell can I find a bit of pine? Just to, I mean, look, pine isn't super hard, but just to see how clean a cut it'll make on it. Right, look, I've set up a bit of pine. Look, it's only pine. It's not going to demonstrate the strength of the router. Ideally, I should be putting this through some maple or some walnut. But bugger if I'm going to waste my good maple and good walnut just to give you guys a demo of that. You'll have to take my word for it. And, good God, what's that? Oh, that's where I burnt through my tabletop with the router bit going around. Holy shit. Anyway, let's drop this down, and let's not go all the way down like I did last time. Down there. No, we can't up it a bit, so let's go this way. Oh, hang on. I don't know whether you can actually micro adjust this here. I might have to play around with that. That might be micro adjustable. There you are. It is micro adjustable by this little lever down here. Hey, that's quite neat. I like that. Cute. Okay, they have thought of it. Let's go back. That's clearing that. Dusty. It's come off. Let's put it back on. I'll only just run through a few inches of this. Goes that way, so we're feeding into the spin. I've got to come this way. Okay, I never have this, never can figure it out, and so I've got to bring it down this way. Dusty on. Dusty on. Come on. Not super impressed with the dust collection. I don't know whether you can see it or not. Hang on, I might just zip down a bit. Oops, the other way. It's done a bit of a job, but nevertheless it's oh look, I'll give it sort of like a 6 out of 10, maybe 7 out of 10. Alright, hang on, let's get this camera right. That's it. Yeah, look, I didn't buy it for the thing, for the plunger assessment, but it's actually quite solid, quite sturdy, and look, it would make a very good lightish router as opposed to a heavy duty trimmer, if that makes sense. But yeah, no, actually I'm quite impressed. Again, it's only pine, only MDF, isn't really putting it through its paces, but the way it went through it, I was happy. And as I said, if I bring this thing all the way down, it comes up beautifully. But that pisses me off, the fact that 2 different ports on the same bloody machine won't fit the same hose properly. Alright, now finally, let's get into the offset base attachment. I'll stop this now and just make a few setups. Not impressed. I'm stupid. I do spend more money than I should be allowed on tools, yet I get rather upset about wasting timber, even if it's only bloody pine. But shit, even pine is expensive nowadays. Alright, let's get out this little offset base. Let's dismantle. Look, I'll do the right thing. I normally wouldn't do this, but for the sake of the video, I'll take the battery out for safety. For your safety, not mine, I'm okay. There. Pull that out, put that aside. Now, the way this, hang on, I'll remove this bit and then go on from there. Remove this bloody collet. Look, I will admit I am not impressed with the tight fit of that, only because it's a struggle to get it in, and sharp blades on raw flesh doesn't go too well. Anyway, what you need to do for this is swap out the collet for this little gizmo here. I'll put that aside. Now this has got a sort of like a square head on it, and it acts more like one of those impact drivers. It's got a square, sort of like a nut down there that will fit into, and through a belt it drives this other collet, spindle, probably bearing, whatever bullshit, spindly thing, through there. So this has to go on, and that square driver has to be aligned down in this offset base. Just give it a bit of a snug, and that's it. Now the thing I don't like about this is it's actually got a very small hole there. Now I don't know whether you can actually replace this plate with a, good God, don't know what that's there for, must be there for a reason. Whether you cannot change this plate for something else, but as you could see there, you'd never get that in, and you haven't got that depth of travel that you might, well, as you can see there, there's no way knowing that's going to do much of a job. However, I did find a smaller one, and I'll see whether I can do something with that. Now, the way this works, and this is another design I'm not very impressed with, to open or lock the spindle here, you need this hex key. Now, look, I've aligned that, pre-aligned it, to make it easier for the demo. Otherwise, I could be spending a minute or two trying to get that aligned so I can slip that through, because what that is there's a hole in the shaft that has to align with these holes, and if as that's spinning around, or when it's off center or off the center or whatever you might call it, it's hard to align. But let's go this way. The way you actually lower and raise this bit is through there. There's a grub screw in there. As you push down on the grub screw, or screw it down, it pushes down and pushes this bit out. To bring it back, you move the grub screw back, push on this bit until it, no you won't, because that's already bottoming out on the collet. So look, at the end of the day you won't be able to use it for this bit. Lucky, like as in all good cooking shows, I have another one prepared. Not this, but just a normal, good God, where did I put it? Normal router bit, hang on. Oh, here we are, got it. It's got a little bearing on it, it's a little piddly little thing. Slap that in there. Let's, no, hang on, let's go back. No, I'm letting it out. Go the other way. That'll do. It's actually got directions on there, but hell, I don't RTF. Good God, that fit through. I'm surprised. Now, another thing I don't like about this, hang on, I've got to make sure I do this up the right way. I think that's closing. Last time I was doing this for half an hour, I realised I was loosening it. No, shit, I've got to put in right on directions on this. Closing is that way. Only because I can see it on the other machine. God almighty, I waste so much bloody time with zero preparation. Push that up. Yeah, it's a crazy spanner because you can't really get a full revolution to take it out to bring it over the other side. Oh, I'm sorry, but they get 0 marks for design on that. Anyway, now that I've put that in there, the thing I have to do is align that hole, loosen this up. Now, is it? Yep, I managed to get it aligned. Brilliant. I think I have. Looking in there, yes, it is aligned. Now you might wonder why or how it's used. Okay, now I haven't, because I'm flush trimming and you'd really be using this on laminates, I haven't got a demo version. So finally got this set up in a way to make meaningful recording. Got a piece of 6mm MDF like I promised. Now assume this is just a small bit of laminate that's overhanging your piece. Oh look, simplest way to put it on is to nail the bloody thing down. No stuffing around here. And one more just to make it bloody harder to take out. Alright, put that gun aside. Now, this has already been hacked to pieces, so what I'm going to do is I'm only going to hopefully demonstrate trimming of that around there and, well, up to the end here, because that's all I've got. But the beauty of this is that, you know, normally what you would do is you'd have the bit coming out the middle there, so you've only got sort of like a half that base to balance that on, and you can tilt it all over the place like that. Especially when you're getting around the corner, you've only got that little square part of it to balance that on. Now the beauty of these offset bases, as I've found, most of the base is sitting on the workpiece here, giving it support, and when you come to the corner, it's just a simple, rather than bring that around like that, you actually swing it around that way, and when you get to this other end here, rather than trying to keep that on that narrow edge, you can actually swing that around, feed it through, and off you go. Now, let's see which way we're looking at. We're looking at rotation going this, hang on, this way to dig in, this way. So I need to feed that way. I've got to, I can never do this automatically. I do too much router table work. Now the problem with this is it hasn't got a dust extraction, so I'm going to make a shitload of dust, and that's going to make it a pain in the ass. But nevertheless, here we go. Battery. No use getting dust extraction. It's actually quite nice because it's got a built-in light. As soon as you put the battery in, you're off. Look, I don't know much about what speed I should use. Small bit, okay, I can crank the speed up a bit. Let's go and see what happens. There you have it. I'll tell you what, I don't know whether I'd use that much. I just don't have the needs for it. But that's done a bloody good job, and it has made that so much more comfortable to control. I really can see a benefit for this offset base, especially if you're working on smaller bits, awkward shapes, if you're doing contoured shapes and you have to sort of zip in and just try and balance it on the edge. No, I'm very impressed. Look, I've got to admit, I do love this trimmer. Just to digress a second, getting back from to that digression, here are two of my other trimmers, cordless trimmers. They're both made by Ryobi. That was the earlier model, which I've got set up to a 3D printed dust extraction just to round over bits and pieces. However, that's got that rack and pinion. Well, actually, that's not even a rack and pinion, it's just a manual up and down. This one here works on a similar principle as the Milwaukee. You open this up, press this button to move it up and down, and then once you've locked it in, you've got this micro adjustment down there. Very nice design. Unfortunately, it just doesn't have the same quality feel as the Milwaukee. Look, that to me was my next go-to trimmer. However, that is now, damn, I don't even know whether I'll ever use, well, I will use it, but it'll never be used for anything but that bit. I won't be swapping it out, although the way you change bloody what's-his-name bits in here is still a pain in the ass. But I have to admit, I am very, very impressed with it. Anyway, as I said, I'll give about a 5 out of 5. I'd give it a 6 out of 5 if it wasn't for the bloody price. Because this costs about, it was, I think, $300 plus, over $300, and that just for the base. That's without the battery. And these extra bases, that and the plunge base were probably, I think, about 99 bucks each. It does come with a fence, for all it's worth, and the plunge base comes with a really nifty micro adjustable, and I love these micro adjustment features, fence, but that's it. So that's all for now. I bid you adieu, Moses or Abraham, I think are good Jewish names, and keep safe.